It has been some time since Death Battle did an episode with two characters I know basically nothing about. We haven't had that since maybe Killer vs Misaka, but I did at least know they used electricity prior to the episode's announcement. With this episode coming in, I have no attachment to either character, except that I like Makima having red hair, and I like Gojo killing people with the power of red and purple. Essentially, I have no investment in the episode and no expectations. It also means that I am not someone to go when it comes to interpreting any deeper meaning in what's said in the fight, or references to things in the series, or getting an idea of if they're in character or not. I can only talk about this episode from the perspective of someone who wants to learn about, I guess I know enough about because of the prediction, but wants to hear these two talked about, get an idea what Death Battle is interpreting and is capable of, and wants to see a cool fight. So let's talk about the analysis. The analysis to me is, I guess by definition, a mixed bag. There's a lot of good and not a lot of bad, just a handful of things I'm not a huge fan of. Not huge blemishes. So I guess remember that a mixed bag implies nothing more than multiple things, and not inherently that some of those things are bad. First of all, and this is actually not a plus to Death Battle because they're not responsible for it, but JJK'd has some amazing animation in it. Like, just watching the clips that they used, I kind of want to watch the show now just for that alone. Some of these shots are really gorgeous. Chainsaw Man, I mean, I noticed the CG being kind of ugly at points, but hey, I'm sure it's good in action in the show. But wow, JJK looks nice in some shots. Also, Gojo has some amazing character animation. Like, I love how expressive this guy is. The anti-Makima. Anyway, speaking of things that look nice, the editing is as always pretty damn good. Given the circumstances DJ had when working on this and the limited time he had to complete it, it's amazing that it comes out looking this good. And, of course, credit to Parker as well for the work done that was not done by DJ. I could have worded that less clunky. Actually, no, I kind of take back the idea that context is at all related to why it looks good. Out of context, the editing still looks amazing. Don't mistake me for saying that the editing only looks good in relation to the production. The editing is phenomenal, and I have noticed people have been slowing down on the editing compliments since like midway through the last season. Come on lads, you gotta give props. I've animated manga panels before in, I can't actually tell you, the Not Death Battle is not out yet, and probably won't be out until like midway next year, but point is I've done it before, and it's not the hardest thing on the world, but it is very time consuming and it isn't easy to make it look this good and seamless. It can be very distracting, and just because it doesn't come off looking like that one Kagurabaki gif doesn't mean it isn't super impressive, because it's not just one scene, but a lot of little movements that have gotten this treatment, spreading them around so that the visual style of the episode isn't nothing but anime clips while also not being nothing but manga panels. Keeps it varied, which I appreciate. Makima's analysis also has some nice VHS glitchy effects to it, I guess because Chainsaw Man takes place in 1997, I don't know, it looks nice, I like it. What are my issues then? Not with the editing, that's for sure, and I don't actually have much problem with Gojo's analysis at all. Felt like it flowed really naturally, going from story to abilities, back to story, and back to abilities seamlessly, and with Gojo's natural placement at the top of the food chain, a transition to versus stats was basically gift wrapped for them, and yeah, they absolutely took it. I did think it felt rushed on my first watch, but it was 4 AM in the morning, my brain wasn't braining much. Then there's Makima's. I will say, I like that they kind of left the whole devil thing as something of a reveal, but I mean, it was pretty obvious, so I'm glad they didn't really pretend it was surprising. The thing for me is that the transition in the versus stuff in Makima's analysis feels a lot more abrupt. And I think all they needed to do to transition between she wanted Chainsaw Man to do stuff for her, and she shot Chainsaw Man good, was basically just going, yeah, unfortunately Chainsaw Man decided her face needed rearranging, or something. Oh god, my throat. Or something like that. It's a little weird that nothing was really given for stats verbally in the episode, so when they get brought up in the comparison at the end, it's kind of abrupt for anybody who was paying attention to the sidebars and reading them, but not really listening to Biz and Woomstick talking. I know you could argue that's on the viewer, but at the same time, you got multiple things going on screen, it's understandable someone on the first watch might not look at the video clips and would just read the sidebar. It was pretty meaningless in the conclusion anyway, but so, you know, whatever. Glad they brought up Makima's death by mukbang though. Anyway, analysis was a mixed bag in the sense that it was like 90% good and 10% I'm not a fan of that. So it's good analysis. The fight then. So there's a lot right with this fight, yeah? I think first off there is a stupendous lack of jank and awkward posing. Death Battle can sometimes have weird moments where the posing is really unnatural and distracting, but this episode just like doesn't. Okay, well no. There is this one single moment where Makima looks a little weird landing from her regen, and Gojo jumps over and lands like this. Did he jump forward and intentionally land so that he was looking in the wrong direction and then turn to face her for no reason? And then it doesn't feel intentional because next shot he's facing her outright. But like, That's what? 10 inconsequential seconds that are not only not important to the fight, but also don't actively require dynamic poses because it's just dialogue? Yeah, that's what we call in Australia not a big deal. Actually, pause, I forgot to mention, there's an interesting bit at the start where they set up some ground rules for this fight, but it ends up literally being irrelevant. But I would like to see stuff like this again, where they stop before the fight and conclusion to bring up how they're combining the verses. Like, something like with Madara Aizen, it might have been good to bring up the similarity between Chakra and, what is it, Reiatsu, before the fight. That might have been nice. At least it would have set some groundwork so the conclusion could spend some time talking without needing to bring it up. But in this episode, it's kind of irrelevant. Curse Energy and Devil Whatever being considered similar enough plays literally no role as far as I'm aware, though my awareness for this is not gospel at all. I've not seen either series. And Gojo being a citizen of Japan ends up literally not mattering either, because there's like a, what, 1 in 126 million chance of him dying from that if we assume this takes place during the time of Chainsaw Man, even less maybe. Still, in cases like this, I wouldn't hate seeing them do this again. Anyway, animation. Wow, is Gojo expressive in this fight, both in the sprite work and in the hand-drawn shots. Gojo has so much personality and character in everything he does, it's amazing. It makes up for Makima, who naturally is a lot less expressive, only really having blank stare, sinister smile, and oh fuck I'm a Gundai. Gojo gets plenty of time to show off his cockiness, his relaxed nature, his kind of weird evil looking smile he sometimes has for reasons I'm sure make sense in the show. I can't be the only one who thinks that this just looks kind of evil, right? It's fantastic. He shows so much character just from the intro to the fight, the intro being pretty unique and interesting too. We not only get this neat title sequence that also bookends the fight, I'm assuming this is a Jujutsu Kaisen thing, or maybe a Chainsaw Man thing, but we get to see them watching stuff on the television. Why do I write television in the script? Do I not know what a fucking television is? Which I'm sure by now has been green screened somewhere. Background also has like references to all the characters this season who died in 3D episodes, aside from the giant robot who wouldn't fit in this room. It's a little amusing because I wouldn't be surprised if the Chosen Undead had ways to get around Limitless and kill Gojo. Someone make a video about that, I don't know, give Gojo an opponent with an even more arbitrary number of extra lives than Makima. Darth Vader absolutely would beat Gojo though. I mean, he's got telekinesis up the ass, he turns off Limitless with testicular torsion. Anyway, Gojo is an unsufferable asshole, but like, it's absolutely intentional. He's definitely pushing Makima's buttons. He's a fucking troll, it's brilliant. This is like the anti-Asta to me. In both cases in Death Battle, I do not know if it's accurate or not to the actual character, but one of these made me want to strangle the guy and hate his guts, and the other made me want to put a ring on the top half of the guy. But Gojo clearly isn't next to Makima in this shot and is reaching from a seat away only to be there in the next shot, and we don't see him sit down. And also, all these characters in the back move between shots. What a terrible episode. 0 out of 10, we didn't get an elaborate and extremely moist edit of the Denji Mukbang Slopfest Vorkill on Makima. Anyway, so Makima decides that Gojo ought to die a bum fart and kicks him out of the cinema, ruining the cinema experience for herself and everyone else. Good job. Gojo is just... God, what a dick. I love you, sweetie pie. Also, I don't know who decided to have a falling corpse seamlessly cover the transition from sprite Makima to hand-drawn Makima, but I see you, and I love you. Good job. I feel like somebody's gonna say, what do you mean there's no awkward posing? Look at how stiff these Frank vs. Leon zombies are when Makima grabs and throws them. But like, I don't know, it looks funny to me, so like, I'm okay with that. And you know, despite Makima not having much expression, there is a lot to love about her first interaction with Limitless. Not only do I like that she decided, nah, fuck this guy, he deserves the sword, before using any of her actual powers on him, like, goddamn woman. But her complete non-reaction to Limitless is fucking hilarious to me. She's not like, wow, that's crazy. She's like, yeah, of course, he might as well be able to do that, and is just nonplussed with Gojo's continued trolling. Her little growl at Gojo about to finger blast her face into non-existence is also just fucking great. And of course, I said in the prediction that I'd be disappointed if there wasn't a scene where Makima got splattered and then some random Japanese guy died as a result, and hey, look at that. This guy just died of actual bum fart. Also, hey, little Easter eggs. There's Bill, not his only appearance too, funny joke. The Kira symbol, because they're going to keep teasing Light vs. Columbo until it's revealed for the finale, and I'm sure someone could translate this Japanese to mean something. But this one's probably about Light vs. Columbo, and this one, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if that just translated to Death Battle given the skulls. Also, is the unicorn approaching Earth a fucking Galactus vs. Unicron reference? I will say that Gojo has all the lines I like in this episode, aside from one. Makima doesn't get too many standout lines, but I can't deny the raw cheese of the Tombstone line is delicious. Gotta love it. The whole following sequence is a lot of Gojo just negating everything with Limitless, but it's really cool and adds a lot of impact to what comes later. Also, Wimpy's Burgers. Hey, is this the same city overall the Saitama Popeye took place in? I guess that's assuming the idea that, like, you can only have, like, a fast food chain can only be in one location. There's no way Wimpy's Burgers could be at, like, fucking Yeah, like Macca's can't be anywhere outside of America or something. Like, that's the assumption I'm making here, so no. Unfortunately, Gojo's "since you're so weak" line is ironically kind of weak. Like, this guy's been the master of trolling all fight. He's been lighting Makima on fire, and then he drops Baby's first taunt. What happened, my man? So heading into the end of the fight, this is where all the limitless shit negating Makima's abilities comes to make something feel more impactful. When Makima decides to finger blast Gojo back, it actually works. They know to put emphasis on Gojo actually getting hit. Then we get the classic trope of Werewolf going so ham on the guitar he's basically rocking out on an entire Razorback 4 as the fight goes into the climax. A trope that will never get old. And, I mean, look, the episode wasn't really going for any sort of, oh no, Makima might actually win here, right? Like, no, there's no fake out, because I kind of knew at this point Gojo had it in the bag. Makima Gojo hits in, she chains him, she gets ready for a finisher, and the whole time Gojo has not used domain expansion. He's not attempted to fight back against control once, and he's not gotten serious at all in the fight. It was pretty obvious at this exact point that Makima was gonna get cooked. Oh hey, quite literally too. Plus for her though, this was the point where the voice acting really shined to me. I wasn't too into Kelsey Jaffa's performance as Makima at first, and not for any fault of their own, but simply because Makima kind of facilitated the kind of vocal delivery that I'm just not huge on. It's a good performance, it's just, these kind of voices, when attempted to be taken seriously, don't always work for me. Absolutely props to the annoyed groan though, and the absolute bitchy cockiness given to the character. But like, the sadistic laughter with the bangs and the play deadline came together to make me actually kind of appreciate the performance. I sort of realized that the whole time Makima was kept characterful enough to not be totally flat, but allowing for the ending to ramp up and show off more of the openly characterful traits of her in a more natural way. Again, not an expert on Chainsaw Man, never read or watched it, so I don't know if this is accurate. Gianni finally reappeared to play Gojo after Season 9's horrible lack of the man, and it's nice to see his return. I see he's getting some warm-up before his upcoming dramatic performances in Duke Nukem vs Serious Sam and Columbo vs Light Yagami. For the most part, he just plays the trolling asshole fairly well, but just like with Kelsey, the ending is where it really gets to ramp up and show his stuff. While still keeping the trolly, cocky asshole tone, he really manages to sell Gojo's rising seriousness and annoyance. He feels like he's still the same guy, while also genuinely kind of annoyed here. Naturally, as he's actually in some manner of danger now that he realized Makima can actually hit him. Ironically enough though, I don't think Makima's finishing move would have actually worked. Like, it's a big, like isn't the Angel Devil's thing like a big weapon? If Gojo had done nothing, wouldn't it have just kind of just been stopped by Limitless and it would have been like the most awkward possible ending? But like, goddamn. The calm and confident delivery of domain expansion is mwah. It's the kind of thing you'd expect domain expansion to be given a big reverb and emphasis, but in Gojo's case, the performance gives across more energy of just, aight bitch, fuck you and fuck your face. I'm gonna kill you now. Like, goddamn, Johnny did great, and Kelsey also did great. Two really good performances that really came to be something I could greatly appreciate once that ending came around. And yeah, the ending is pretty fucking great. Not only is it really cool to see how they animated Unlimited Void, and honestly, the animation of Gojo's leg healing and the pan up into him doing his domain expansion with the line delivery is just oddly satisfying to me. And like, Gojo's on, I know the whole I Alone and the Honored one is like a thing in the actual series, but that doesn't stop it from being raw as fuck. It's a kind of like, bruh thought she was on the same level type of thing. Like, he kills Makima with the raw power of purple here. I respect him. Respect my man. I'm gonna watch JJK'd in the future now. I also don't know why, but I love how after he kills her, which him winning does return us back to the classic thing of character dies multiple times in the fight. Well, now they gotta stay dead after Raven ruined it. Anyway, after he kills her, it looks like for a second he's tired and like actually relieved, and then he just immediately goes to, nah, I rizzed her too hard. No way was I gonna lose that. Like, he has this energy to him, right? Like, come on, it's great. He saved that. He saved his image there by not letting that whole fight get to him. Just be like, yeah, easy. I'm effortless. It has like energy where I can't help but imagine if someone came in going like, Gojo, you literally destroyed the mall, his response would be, meant to do that. So yeah, good animation, good progression, good moments where it pauses for emphasis instead of feeling rushed. Effects look amazing, especially for Gojo. Wait, is that the Knives Inc. store from JJK'd? Did that also take place near this area? I guess that's also assuming there's only one Knives Inc. Is that Dragon's? Is that the Moonlight Greatsword? Is that the dumbass hammer? Is this just a store to purchase the leftover weapons of losing combatants? Because let me tell you, These things aren't knives unless you're the size of a building, and this thing isn't a knife in any context. Also, there appear to be 2 of this store with all the same equipment even though there's only 1 Dragon Slayer. How did Death Battle make that mistake? 0 out of 10 episode, we didn't get to see them argue that if these 2 had consensual sex that Gojo's potency advantage would make him accidentally kill Makima, and it wouldn't be seen as an attack so it'd bypass the immortality. Can't believe they missed out on that. We want to talk references though, look straight at the domain expansion. We got Bill in the Nightmare Realm still, the goated Kagurabachi, Raymond taking an L, you'll love to see it. There's some rando taking a fat L too, don't know why this matters, but don't play IRL Among Us, kids. Martian Manhunter eating shit, Bill, again. Whoever this is, probably not important, doubt any of you would understand him. Sadly, I do not feature within this, which is a shame, because Cyber killing me with Bleach knowledge would have literally been a perfect inclusion. So yeah, lots of fun references that aren't distracting, that's pretty cool. Also, I like how Makima sounds when she's dying. Does that make me crazy? I'm not surprised by the result, but I am surprised by how one-sided they make it seem in the conclusion. Given Death Battle have at least tried to make unfair matchups seem at least a little close, like with Cole Alex this season or Magneto Tetsuo last season, it was a bit surprising and kind of funny how hard they buried Makima. Gojo's Riz literally negated her main power. Makima was twice as fast, but couldn't use that speed to do jack shit. All of her powers were basically useless. Gojo could effortlessly wipe her army, and Gojo could easily just kill her. He could negate her existence with Galaxy Brain. And Makima's only real advantage was that, yes indeed, she could hit him through Limitless with an attack that is half as strong as he is that he could regenerate from. Essentially, her big advantage is something that any loser on Death Battle history also had, that being the ability to physically hit the opponent. Yeah, take the fucking L. Thankfully the conclusion was just overall more lengthy despite how I made that seem. I like lengthy conclusions. This is the thing the entire show is built around, so not only do I like seeing it expanded on to address the majority of major arguments without filling all of them into corner boxes, but it also feels like it pays more respect to the time spent researching the characters than episodes with a 2-minute conclusion. Honestly, wouldn't be shocked if Death Battle's short conclusions that only address a handful of things and relegates a lot of the research into the corner of the screen might be responsible for their reputation as having bad research. Well, at least a combination of inaccurate episodes from bygone eras that don't reflect the current show at all, controversial outcomes in modern episodes, and the fact that their conclusions tend to be really short and rarely scratch the surface. Those are what likely contribute to their bad research misrepresentation amongst the power scaling community. Can't do anything about the first two, but I love more longer and detailed conclusions that fully go in depth. More Naruto vs Ichigo's, Ryu vs Jin's, and Gojo vs Makima's, please. I do say this though as if the conclusion isn't only like a single minute longer than most others, but like it feels longer than that, and it felt like it addressed more of the major points. In particular, I feel like in prior episodes they would have just left the unlimited void argument as just, yeah, she can't spread it amongst finite people. But this time they actually went and grabbed an example to actively support their argument, which I like seeing more of. Not just claims that don't show the evidence to back them up, like the whole, oh, Power Cosmic can do anything, here's a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter, we also won't show you the important shit. Like, I like it. I like that there's an example. It's cool. Also, the Next Time trailer was edited by our boy, Galaxy Video Max. Everyone give a round of applause, the man's moving up in the world. Another avenue to bribe someone to add Ryugu into an episode's analysis once he gets to edit Nostalgia Critic vs Angry Video Game Nerd next season. Yeah, the next time is Scooby vs Courage. This is what I said 7 minutes before the episode premiered. And that was Gojo vs Makima, to be clear, because I feel like someone's going to assume that I'm, like, completely disregarding Scooby Courage. No connection to Courage the Cowardly Dog, beyond a few of the creepy scenes that I've seen in videos. Somewhat of a fan, Scooby-Doo. Haven't seen a lot of it, but, you know, I generally have good thoughts and vibes towards it. Generally got good feelings towards Scooby-Doo. It's a cartoon matchup. I think it's like the first time we've gotten 2 characters devoted to Toon Force against one another. Because like with our Toon Force characters, SpongeBob, Poppy, and Mask, they didn't really fight someone who used Toon Force. And like King Mickey doesn't really do Toon Force anyway, but even if you included him, Yoda certainly doesn't. So this is like the first double Toon Force fight. At least like I think Scooby's got moments of Toon Force shit. So I'm interested in that. It's cool to see Western animation getting more representation. It's a fun matchup. It's 2 dogs, which is neat. Sad to see a dog die, but they're not realistic looking dogs, so I'm not too terribly bothered by that. And I know that Max is working on this one. It's his first big project, so I'm really excited to see how that turns out. I watch Multiverse Match if you want like an idea on what Max is capable of. It's quite good. Or just watch the next time trailer in this episode as well. And you know, I'm excited to see how it turns out. I have no strong connection to the matchup, but I am excited for it because it's not something I'm really used to, or not something we see often on Death Battle, and I'm interested to learn what these guys have in store for us. So yeah, and I don't know who's going to win either, because I've seen arguments go all over the place. As long as Scooby doesn't win via DC comic scaling, I'm happy, and I don't think he's gonna, because like Megatron didn't beat Frieza with Marvel comic scaling, so you know. And that was Gojo versus Makima. For an episode where I knew nothing about the two really beyond what I learned of the prediction, it did tickle my fancy. I definitely don't think I can appreciate the episode as much as active fans of either character or series, assuming of course that it's like well representative of the two, because if it's not, then I probably enjoy it more than them, but I still really like the episode. Two good analyses, a pretty characterful and highly entertaining fight with many great moments, a more in-depth and interesting conclusion than normal, all in all, a very solid episode. Yeah, so that was the review, and I realized too late that I didn't say anything about the track, Who Wears the Crown, I think it's called. Oh yeah, it's good. To be honest, I didn't really notice it much outside of when, like, the guitar was going crazy in the repeated bang scene, but, you know. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the review, hope you guys are doing good, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Tell me what you thought down below, as long as you're not a dickhead about the fact that Makima lost. Though, I mean, I guess there would have been more dickheadish responses if Gojo had lost, but, you know, people love to complain. Which I know some people are going to be like, oh, you're one to talk, you love to complain. And it's like, come on, I'm not going around throwing around hate speech over fucking Death Battle, okay? Can't call me anywhere near a top tier complainer. So yeah, I really don't have much else to say. Now I'm thinking about, yeah. Halloween fast approaches. Get ready for a video on Halloween that I've been working on a lot, and it's been a hard few weeks just continuously working on it with basically no breaks and trying to get other content out at the same time. Not easy. So, yeah. Thank you for enjoying the video, unless you didn't, in which case, thank you for the view anyway. And thank you to all my patrons scrolling by right now for supporting me. And if you want to join, you can, and you can look at all the stupid shit that they love to make me say, which I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna do that. Let's just see. Let's see what they got. Let's see if anyone's managed to produce a funny. You know, who knows? Who knows? Who needs a dummy mommy when you got Gianni? You know what? Fair. Say goodbye to your balls. Bang! Hey, I can't do a Makima voice. What do you expect from me? Like, have I done any voice that's like that kind of... I feel like I must have done like a really overly... sexual sort of voice, but like it doesn't really fit. I can't really do a... See, the problem with doing a Gojo voice for me is I have to go off of a handful of lines of dialogue in this death battle and nothing else. And I've never practiced it either. So this is like first attempt. I don't know. I'm going to murder you. Can't believe Makima had to bang Gojo in order to hurt him. See, you know how it feels for you guys when people say Makima bangs like all the time and it's like, ha, bang isn't sex. That's how I feel whenever the community use the words rooting. That's how I feel when I hear that and I read that. Throughout heaven and earth, I alone will give you this L. You like my smile? Domain expansion, L plus ratio. Should I bark too? Or should I kill you like the bitch you are? You know what, that was a lot more reserved than I was expecting. You know, Makima fans can be. Gojo fans can also be. See, you can fill in like the adjectives for me there on your own. I don't need to do that for you. So yeah, that was actually pretty, you know, reserved for normal, like compared to normal. Yeah, but I'll see you guys in just a few days. Sorry this review is a little bit later than normal. As said, working hard for that Halloween video. It's not a Not Death Battle, but November, I will reveal who won the Not Death Battle 30,000 subscriber vote. It's surprised. Okay, I would never. There are only a handful of results that have actually surprised me. I was a little bit surprised at how things like shaked out though. So, you know, thank you for surprising me in that regard. So, all right, goodbye. Have a good one, everyone. Bye. Blah.